Hello everyone, my name is Mini Sethi. I hope you all are fine and healthy. Today we are going to talk about Keynesian liquidity preference theory of interest. What is liquidity preference? Liquidity preference is people wish to hold cash. Liquidity preference is people wish to hold cash. And this theory basically tells us relationship between interest rate and preference of people to hold cash. This theory basically explain relationship between interest rate and preference of people to hold cash. Okay, and according to this theory, interest rate is our reward for going away from our liquidity for specific time period. Interest rate is our reward for going away from our liquidity for specific time period. For example, if you invest your liquidity, or we can say that if you invest your cash, in return you receive interest, and this interest is your reward. And according to this theory, interest rate is determined by money demand and money supply. So according to this theory, interest rate is determined by money demand and money supply. Firstly, we talk about demand for money. Demand for money means how much people wish to hold as a cash. Demand for money means how much people wish to hold as a cash, and people wish to hold a cash because of these three motives. First motive is transaction motive, second is precautionary motive, third is speculative motive. Firstly, we talk about transaction motive, or we can say that transaction demand for money. Transaction demand for money means people wish to hold a cash because money is needed for day-to-day transaction, and transaction demand for money and income have a direct relation. If income increase, transaction demand for money also increase. If income fall, transaction demand for money also fall. Okay, so symbolically we can represent it TDM equal to FY. TDM is transaction demand for money, Y is income, and F is function. Okay, now we talk about precautionary demand for money. Precautionary demand for money means people basically wish to hold cash for any future emergency purpose. For example, sickness, accident, or danger of unemployment. And precautionary demand for money and income also have a direct relation. If income increase, precautionary demand for money also increase. If income fall, precautionary demand for money also fall. And symbolically we can represent it PDM equal to FY. PDM is precautionary demand for money, and Y is income, and F is function. Now we talk about speculative demand for money. Speculative demand for money means people hold money. People wish to hold cash so that in future they can invest this money in money market. Speculative demand for money means people wish to hold cash so that in future they can invest this money in money market. For example, in bonds or any another security, so that they can take advantage of changing interest rate in future. Okay, and speculative demand for money is function of interest rate. Both have an inverse relation. Here SDM is speculative demand for money, R is interest rate. Both have an inverse relation. When interest rate increase, speculative demand for money fall, and when interest rate fall, speculative demand for money is increase. Why? When interest rate increase, speculative demand for money fall. Why? Because when interest rate increase, as we all know, speculative demand for money means we keep some amount of money, means we hold some cash so that in future we can invest in money market. If currently right now we are getting higher interest rate, then why should we hold money for future investment? Okay, that's why when interest rate increase, speculative demand for money will fall. On the other hand, when interest rate falls, speculative demand for money is increased. We understand this concept with the help of one diagram. In this diagram, on x-axis we have speculative demand for money, and y-axis we have interest rate. We can clearly see as interest rate increasing, speculative demand for money is falling. As interest rate falling, speculative demand for money is increasing. Means both have an inverse relation. This curve, this MD curve basically represents speculative demand for money. At OR interest rate, which is lower interest rate, which is minimum interest rate. At this interest rate, after this E point, this curve become horizontal. Means this curve become perfectly elastic. It means that at this amount of interest rate, which is very very low, people don't want to invest in money market. They just want to hold their all cash. Means they have absolute liquidity preference, and this is called liquidity trap. As we earlier discussed, according to this theory, interest rate is determined by money demand and money supply. We have already discussed about money demand. Now we talk about money supply. Money supply is fixed by monetary authority. Here we assume money supply is fixed by monetary authority. Okay. Now we will talk about how interest rate is determined by money supply and money demand with the help of this diagram. In this diagram, on x-axis we have money supply and money demand, and y-axis we have interest rate. This black one, MS curve, represent money supply curve. This red one, MD curve, represent money demand curve. Okay. OR is equilibrium interest rate where money supply is equal to money demand. OR is equilibrium interest rate where money supply is equal to money demand. Suppose interest rate increase from OR to OR1, then money supply will exceed from money demand, and excess money supply will reduce the interest rate, and economy will bring back at initial equilibrium point at E, where again money supply will equal to money demand. Okay, suppose we are at E equilibrium point. Now interest rate fall from R to R0. Now we have excess money demand over money supply, means money demand exceed from money supply, and excess money demand will increase the interest rate, and economy will bring back initial equilibrium point at E, where again money supply will equal to money demand. This is all about Keynesian liquidity preference theory of interest. I think you got it, and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye, take care.